Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Today we are getting close to finishing up on our current deck build, and we had a question about, Doctor, how are you attaching staircases to a deck? So we have two different staircases on this particular project, and I'm going to show you how we attach each one, and they are completely different techniques. So if you get something out of this video, or if you like what you see, don't forget to click that subscribe button. All right, so this particular staircase is actually a curved staircase. Stay tuned for a future video on this staircase build. We feel it's a really great feature, but it has a really unique set of circumstance for the way I had to attach it. So traditionally, a staircase, most staircases are built with stringers that are cut out to a particular rise and run. Well, this particular staircase, we built it on boxes and stacked the boxes on top of one another. And then we put beams underneath the boxes to connect to the staircase and to connect to the deck. We had to take those beams and put those at certain elevations. So the first thing I did was I took my very first box, a tapered box. Now this is, like I said, is a curved staircase, so they're not square boxes, they're actually tapered. One side was 11 inches, one side was 16.5 inches, and I actually fastened the box right to the beam of the deck at 7.25 inches down from the top of the deck. So I got kind of lucky because this particular project, I actually made this first box 1.5 inches wider because the outside rim joist hung out 1.5 inches past this beam. So if I extended my first box by 1.5 inches, then it would be flush to the outside of the deck. So I was able to just use Fasten Master ledger locks, and I went ahead and ledger locked the first box to the beam, and in between every set of joists, pieces right here, the supports for the decking. Once that was done, I continued building my staircase out, and you can see some of our shorts where I'm actually building this thing out. To obtain the rigidity that we needed, we had to put beam supports underneath each rise of these stairs. And those are multiple angles at multiple locations, but that's what gives this the support so that this doesn't want to drop once it's stationary. So to do that, we had to pour some concrete, put in some posts, and then attach the beams to those posts. On this side, there's an existing post right here. So I was able to take this beam, cut it in to match the angle of this post, and then I'd used some timber locks and some construction screws temporarily hold it in place, which actually a lot of people would just do that and say, okay, we're good. But then I went ahead and put some bracketry on as well, some steel. This is a Simpson LS50, so it is skewable. And then we used some 2.5 inch SD screws, which are structural screws by Simpson, to hold that together so that if things shrink or expand or contract, we know that it's gonna stay fastened. On this side, this beam I had to do a little bit differently. It came in at a point where I wasn't going to put it near a post. I decided to go ahead and attach it to the beam, and I used these angle brackets with some 2.5 inch Simpson SDS screws. These are 2.5 inches. And I put one of these on each side, and then you can also see right here that I used some like 4 or 6 inch timber locks to go up into the beam. And that's usually what I'm doing to kind of hold it in place first. And once I have it positioned where I want, then I put my steel on it, and then it's good to go. So this is a little bit unorthodox on how this particular set of posts and beams were attached to this deck, but it definitely works. So sometimes you got to think a little bit outside the box when you're building, but you got to make sure it also will hold up and withstand the weight and time that you're going to be installing it for. All right, so that's one way to attach a staircase to a deck. Let's go look at a little bit more traditional way that we attach a staircase to a deck on the other side of the house. All right, guys, so here we are on the other side of the house. We have this front entry deck that we built, and this is a more traditional way that I would install a staircase to a deck. So this was actually an existing landing, but it doesn't really matter if it's new or old or whatever. There is framing for the deck up here. This is framing for my staircase down here. What you see here is a 4x6 block that goes from the top of the joist of the deck and it comes down 7.5 inches, and then it comes down another 7.5 inches to the bottom of the support plate, which supports what I have is a full backing of support for my staircase, okay? So what I did here was I did through screws. I used 4-inch timber locks. I used 5 of them. They go through the joist into this block. Now I have a solid member that I can hang my staircase to, but since my staircase was all pre-made and all put together, I went ahead and put an 1.5 inch piece of material to the face of that 4x6 that I had, so it flushes out so that this board right here is in the same vertical plane as the joist up above. Now that gives me a flat surface. I can put my staircase higher or lower or wherever I want to put it, whatever I need, which again, all these rises are 7.25 throughout this entire project. Then once that was attached, I attached it also to this beam. This beam happened to be at the very edge of the deck. So I put this piece all the way into this beam, and then I put an L bracket. This is a Simpson L70Z with structural screws. I have one over here. I have one on the other side as well. You can see that in a minute. And then once my support was complete, I was able to take the staircase and install it to this board here. So what I used to do that was I used some 2 7/8 inch Fasten Master headlocks, which are structural and they suck things together really nice and tight. So I went ahead and doubled those up in every bay that I had available, and that really locked the staircase to the existing deck. That's another way that you can actually fasten things. Sometimes we use a beam like this beam right here. It goes all the way to the end of the deck. So I was able to run some 6-inch fasteners through my framing of my staircase into there. But even though I had those in there, I still went ahead and put a little bit of steel on there because building inspectors like to see that kind of stuff. They sometimes will accept, if it's on your plans and the plans are accepted that way as drawn, they'll accept it. But if you say staircase will be attached with blah, 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 you better have that blah, blah, blah on the deck for inspection, or else you may not get a final. This again is a more traditional way that we attach a staircase. There are several other ways to do it, but that's how I do it. So if you like this video, don't forget, clicking that subscribe button is really important to me. Please do that. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, let us know how we're doing, and thanks for watching, guys. Oh, hit that bell icon as well if you want to be notified when we're putting out new content. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.